Good morning this morning. How are you this Saturday morning? As I peruse the news, as I usually do, I see the story. Time to wake up. Cybertruck bomber had several manifestos warned of drones using gravitic propulsion. Weird. Very weird. And then I read the story, and boy, is it strange. Obviously, everyone's familiar with the Cybertruck detonation in front of the Trump Tower in Las Vegas. But apparently the fella had something on his mind. Big time. And we're going to get into some of it. Be sure to like, subscribe, and let's get started. This morning I saw this article in Zero Hedge because I peruse Zero Hedge literally every single day. And it just kind of gets into what the guy in the truck. So it came down to this, and I'm sure millions of people have already seen this. The Sam Schmidt reveals on the Sean Ryan show that the Las Vegas Cybertruck boomer emailed him before the attack claiming that the USG and China had gravitic propulsion systems and that he was being tracked by the FBI. Whether he's being tracked by the FBI or whatever remains to be seen. And frankly, I'm not going down the tinfoil hat road because I don't have to. But for frame of reference, this is the email.
Want to read it out, the email?
Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPSEN, that's Operations Center, our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they use the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comm system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive VBID. Let me pause right there for a second. So he says a massive VBID. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a VBID was. I had to explain what that acronym meant, literally.
Are you fucking serious?
Dead serious. I said it twice and he goes, you said that word VBID. Can you tell me what that is? For your audience, a VBID, for your audience who has not been in the GWOT for the last 20 years, a VBID is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a car bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So, backing up, he says, I am armed and have a massive VBID. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Here's where he gets into the other stuff, and this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcas, that's civilian casualties, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft and CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with, redacted, IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted, commander at the time, redacted, can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, My LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion, 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
What is USAP? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. But I checked his credentials on LinkedIn. So that was the first thing I did. I went to his LinkedIn page. First thing I noticed was all of his bona fides were in place. He has all the UAS training from USASOC and everything else. And so I said, okay, at least the guy knows what he's talking about with drones. That was a very rough dig into the guy. But my issue was I couldn't validate or verify any of this information. And I told him that. And how I responded to him was in a subsequent email. I said, this is obviously a very big deal, but I don't have anything to verify this information with. Talking about gravitic propulsion systems without evidence just makes me another UFO talking head. Like, I'm not going to go on my social media page and start talking about UFOs and anti-gravity systems and everything. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't. And he said, can I get on Fox News Contact on Signal as well as Sean's show? Hegseth would be good too. That was his last message to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, what is a gravitic propulsion system?
What is a gravitic propulsion system? A gravitic propulsion system is anti-gravity. It's where you are able to defy gravitational forces by creating your own gravitational force. And you are able to manipulate that gravitational force to create momentum in any direction at any speed. Years ago, I purchased a video, and I've been aware of electromagnetic and electrogravitic drive for a while. It was in Popular Science in the 1950s. Good luck finding some of those issues now. I tried to find them for this video, and I was unable to find them. Excuse me a moment. Pardon me. But I became aware years ago, when I was younger, of electromagnetic and electrogravitic drive. And one of the things I found, I bought a video about the NASA rovers. And on there, it had a couple of videos from old Disney animation. And this is from 1957.
For the past half-century, the intriguing possibility of traveling to Mars in a spaceship has challenged the imagination of many men. Rocket ships of all sizes and shapes have been designed, but most of them rely on an enormous consumption of chemical fuel to escape the pull of the Earth's gravity. A spaceship using an electromagnetic drive to neutralize gravity is the obvious answer. But such a device is still a dream for the future.
That future may be today. I am in no way claiming UFOs or anything like that. But I do know that electromagnetic and electrogravitic drives are real. They are very real. It is my supposition that the United States has had electromagnetic and electrogravitic drives now for decades. Not years, decades. And I think you can go back in time and find a lot of what people report as UFOs or similar to be just that. And the reason I believe this is that because when something is found out, like there's a breakthrough in science, specifically in a military science where you have a distinctive advantage over your adversary, something like this is God-level stuff. God-level stuff. As Bob Lazar says in his Joe Rogan interview, which I have the entire Bob Lazar interview here. I'm going to link it in here. It's a must for anyone. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Mastering this technology is next level. It's God stuff. It's almost magic. And this is the end of that Disney video. I just want to show you the end of it.
Survive. These questions will be answered by our space pioneers of the future. In solving the enigma of the red planet Mars, man may find a key that opens the first small door to the universe. Carried forward on the wings of modern science, man in the years that follow may discover the miracle of life as it exists in all its countless forms throughout an infinite creation.
The small 3 craft entering the larger craft. How many times have we heard that in a UFO debate? Okay, so that's the UFO part. Now, an EmDrive, an electromagnetic drive. This is science fiction. This is 2016. EmDrive. China claims success with reactionless engine for space travel. No photos are available. This is a piece about how they claim to have success with an electromagnetic drive system, in testing phase only. It's my contention the United States has more than one of these, that we've had them for decades, that we're well aware of them, that the Trump Tower guy, he was in the program. You see some of the photos that have been coming out of New Jersey and everything of these drones. Some of them don't appear to have props. Electromagnetic drives that are using the same technology as the Dyson fans, where it's, you know, same principle. An electric field condenses the air, pushes it down. Either way, some of these photos are of odd-shaped vehicles that are clearly not using propellers, and people have been baffled by that. Electromagnetic, electrogravitic. This just confirms to me that the drones over the East Coast are ours. This literally just confirms it to me. And this guy, this poor mentally unhinged person who clearly had some issues. There's rumors coming out of infidelity, issues with the wife leaving, things like that, and all of that is speculative, merely speculative. But he was clearly a very serious individual who had a very serious job, and I believe that he was in on a program, a need-to-know program, and this is it. I believe this is that program. Electromagnetic, electrogravitic drive systems, and we have seen evidence now that China possibly has made a breakthrough in this area as well, and this is in popular science. So this isn't just some, rag. This Trump Tower cybertruck thing is weird. Very, very weird. But I believe it did offer us an insight into something not a lot of people are aware of. And that insight is we, the United States, and possibly China, we, the United States, are in full possession of and have control of electrogravitic or electromagnetic drive systems. And the capabilities that those offer us, not as a country, as a species, are limitless. And I have the Joe Rogan interview with Bob Lazar, and he goes into very much what that would mean for us as a species. And on a military level, he goes into it too. He basically calls it God mode. Nothing can penetrate a gravitic field. You're set. So I'm going to leave it there. Everything that I've gone through, I'll be sure to link. I do appreciate you, and I thank you for stopping by.